So that's a transition. That was a transition for me, right? And that first year, I did that for a whole year. And I didn't eat dinner with my family's big for me. Family is very big for me. And so I didn't eat at home dinner for that whole year, man. I wasn't involved as in with my family, picking up with school, dropping them off, going to meetings. I was just grinding at the shop.
Welcome to another episode of the Elevated Barbers Podcast. This is season 2. We are here. We told you we was coming and we coming strong. So today we have a very special guest. But before we get to the special guest, you know you have to introduce yourself again, D. Let them know who you are.
This is Delmar, aka the Prince, coming with all new energy this season. And I'm gonna pass the mic off to my guy, our guest, Barber June.
Yo, what's going on here, man? It's your boy, Junior Garcia, known as Barber June. I'm just thankful to be here with you guys, allowing me to come on your guys' platform and extending the hand. I appreciate it, man. So, yeah, I appreciate you guys for real, man. I take it. It's an honor, for real, man. For real.
Yeah, it's definitely an honor, man.
Yeah, we appreciate you taking time out your busy schedule to do this podcast with us, brother.
Yeah, right on. It's all love, man. It's all love.
It's all love. All right. So, well, as you all know, my name is Bradford Kelly. I'm the owner of Another Level of Barbering, and I'm the proud co-host of Elevated Barbers Podcast, and I'm also the coach of the Level Up programs for barber and beauty professionals. Now, Delmar, go ahead and give your little rundown of what I shouldn't say your little rundown because it ain't little, but give your rundown of what it is that you do.
So I am a barber / entrepreneur. I've been licensed in the barber industry for 12 years. And I just like making people look good, man. Look good, you feel good, you do everything else good, like Deion say.
Yeah, you play good.
Yeah, you play good.
Yeah. Now, Barber June, this whole episode is about you, my guy. It's not really about us. It's about you. It's about your story. It's about what you're doing for the industry at this point. What you are doing has been miraculous, in my personal opinion, in regards to the way that you're affecting lives, and you did it from a point of humor first, and then quality, and
Hey,
then
Brad, the IG people are saying that they can't hear June.
Oh no.
Yeah, on IG, you can't hear me on IG. Oh, okay. Okay, there you go. I turned my mic. I turned my mic off. Okay, now I turn it on IG.
Can everybody hear him?
You guys hear me on IG? My bad. Rookie mistake. My bad.
It's all good, brother. We're gonna get it right.
Can y'all hear June now?
Send me hearts. No, just joking. If you can hear me, send me a heart.
There we go.
There we go. Okay.
All right. So yeah, this is about you, June. Like I said, you entered the industry, and you grew up in the Bay. I believe you grew up in the Bay.
Sure.
But you entered the industry from a popularity standpoint, so to speak, and you were able to do it through humor. Like, you are just a hilarious person because you are very real with what you do. So you show the things that we think. But then what I've loved and I really, really appreciate from you is that you've transitioned into providing a lot of value. And it's not just humor, it's about quality mindset, it's about inspiration, it's about motivation, it's about releasing yourself from being trapped behind limiting beliefs and going out and doing what you want to do. So please give us a quick little rundown from who June is. Like, where did you come from, and like where do you get this from?
Yeah, man, I'm from the Bay Area, man. Born and raised my whole entire life from the Bay. I didn't think anything else existed outside the Bay. No, but I'm just born and raised from the Bay, the East Bay 925, Pittsburgh, California. Yeah, man. And so, growing up in Pittsburgh, man, there's a lot of funny dudes. There's a lot of clowning growing up from a young age. clown, even from your own family. They'll, especially coming from a Hispanic family too, they're gonna make fun of you. You know what I'm saying? They gonna call you, fat, gordo, flaco, skinny, ugly. We give people care. We give people nicknames. So I just think, it just humor has always been there. Grew up in the Bay Area, so growing up, you got to learn how to clown. You got to learn to have thick skin. At the end of the day, it's all jokes. It's all jokes. But yeah, been a barber for 10 years. Love every attribute of being a barber. And I've just only been making content for like almost a year now. This October will be 1 year for me. So I'm at like my 11th month.
Yeah, about to have an anniversary.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's crazy, man. I've only been doing content, but I've been barber for 10 years. But I've only just started doing content. So that's why that's why I think I just came out the gate swinging, just because I've been around the culture. I know the culture. I live it. I breathe it. And I'm just giving my opinion on it.
I love it, man. And your opinion is very valid too. You've impacted so many people, man. I kind of look at some of the comments from things that you've posted, and especially when you talked about one time where you were just like getting over yourself and not letting insecurities or not letting fear like stop you from being yourself, like or getting out there and putting content out. You did that so outstanding, and all of the feedback that you were getting, where it felt like you were releasing people from feeling bad. You know what I mean? Like they were able to be free. So Delmar, you haven't got a chance to like really, really, truly know June, but what are some questions that you may have for him that, because you guys aren't as familiar, like I'm familiar with him with? So go ahead.
So June, are you still in the Bay Area or did you switch locations? I did a little bit of homework, so.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, man, I just moved to Arizona 2 years ago.
Nice.
So 2 years ago, I just recently relocated to Arizona. So I've been in Arizona for 2 years. And yeah, man, so I'm no longer in the Bay Area, but the Bay will always be home to me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but yeah.
Was it hard for you to leave your clients behind, especially the ones that you started with?
Oh yeah. Well, yes and no. Yes, because the first time that I moved from out of the Bay, from Pittsburgh, I worked in Oakley. When I started my barbering career, I started in Brentwood, Oakley. I worked at a couple shops in Antioch and Pittsburgh, but I really didn't. I was there for like a month. I was there for like a couple weeks, and it was just like, this shop's not for me. I already know. And so my barbering instructor at the time said, you got to think outside the box. Don't stay in this community. Try to go to a different community with different clientele base. And so I'm like, you know what? Let me go to Brentwood. It's a 20-minute drive. It's further out. So that's when I started barbering. Like when I was still in apprentice school, that's when I first got my first shop that I stayed at for like 3 years. Yeah. And so basically I worked in Brentwood and Oakley for like 6 years. Then I moved from Brentwood and Oakley out of Antioch. I was living in Antioch, but I worked in Brentwood, Oakley. Then we moved to Vacaville. And that was hard for me, moving to Vacaville, leaving. I mean, I'm talking about, man, your boy was booked up for 3 weeks. You know what I mean? I was booked up for 3 weeks straight. A lot of clientele. I cut a lot of people. I knew a lot of people. It's my home. This is my area that I grew up in, right? I had 6 years of barbering. I grew a big clientele base. And to move to another county in Vacaville, that was hard for me. But once I moved to Vacaville, an hour away to Vacaville, it just clicked on me. I was like, dang, and I built my clientele pretty fast in Vacaville. And that's the thought. It was like, you know what? I did that. It was a scary move. I started all over, but like I did that. Like I'm proud to say I rebuilt again. I was just as busy. I did my thing. So I was like, bro, this is crazy that I moved an hour away to a different county. People followed me. I had a good about 20 clients from Oakley, Brentwood, Pittsburgh followed me to Vacaville. Was getting cut by me in Vacaville.
Oh, that's big.
That's an hour drive with the toll bridge.
With toll.
Oh, wow.
With the toll bridge.
Yeah.
$6, $5 toll bridge, So I appreciated that.
Yeah.
I appreciated that, man. And so it just gave me the confidence going through that. And I'm like, if I moved anywhere else, I know I can build it. So it was scary and I did miss it, but it was a challenge that I was willing to take on.
Yeah, and it's always scary when you either switching shops or switching cities or counties, or out here we call them parishes. I had to do that several times starting off in my career, but once you put in that work and people see that you're just good, genuine people, they will
Right.
follow you. They will follow you.
Right.
Yeah. So I
Absolutely.
wanted to ask you, June, man, like what was the biggest challenge in that move? Like what made you go to Vacaville? Like what was the inspiration behind the move? And then how did you start to get your clientele?
So one of the biggest things, the reason why, because we owned a home in Antioch, we bought a house, but when we were firstly married, it was just my wife and I, right? And so again, we've been in that house for 10 years at that time, but it was a small home. It was a 2-bedroom house. It was 900 square feet. It was a starter home, right? And
Yeah.
so now moving fast forward, you know, being a barber, I have 3 daughters. My oldest was like, I think she was like 4 at the time. 4.
Mhm.
My middle one was about 2, 2.5, almost 3, and my youngest one was a year old. And it just the house just got really small for us. So we were looking to upgrade our house, right? We needed a bigger house. But to move into Antioch, Oakley, or Brentwood for 100 more square feet, it would have been significantly a lot more. If we were to move to Vacaville, we could get a double the size house,
Yeah.
right? 2,100 square feet for the same price. So
Yeah.
for me, it just made no sense. I'd rather move away, get a bigger home, a nicer home, a
Yeah.
newer home, instead of just for the same price moving up 100 square feet.
Right.
100 square feet is not a really from 900 square feet to 1,000 to 1,100.
That's you're not doing nothing.
I'm not doing nothing. Yeah, so I made the
That's-
best, for my family. I got a bigger size house. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
nice.
No, that's tight, man. I think that it's so key to like keep in mind that we as barbers and beauty professionals, we literally grow,
Right,
in life. Like we grow
right,
in life, and the challenge with growing in life is that your income has to grow,
right,
right? Like if your desires, if you building a family, if you want to buy a home, you trying to get a car, all of these different things, like your income has to develop
right.
just as much as your person is. And so being able to make that move is
Mhm,
a big deal because you have to trust in yourself and
right.
what you could produce. So when you got to Vacaville, man, like what was the mindset?
Well, for me, it was an investment because I knew we made a lot of money on our first home. And so if I could go ahead and take that same amount of money that we made the investment and dump it into a nicer, bigger home, I just know delay gratification. It's just going
Yeah.
to move the ball down the court and our future is going to be more brighter. And
So
so,
what I wanted to ask you about the clientele building, because did you move to a barbershop in Vacaville?
yeah, I moved up to a barbershop in Vacaville. So when we moved to Vacaville, what I did was my plan was I would work at the new barbershop because I know Thursday towards the end of the week it's busier for walk-ins, right? So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I was working at the new barbershop, and at my old barbershop, I was working at Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Oh, he was
Right, so
grinding.
I'm more days of work, right, longer commutes, and also I would come in early on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, come in early, stay super late, like
Yeah.
it's 10 o'clock, 9:30, just accommodating all my clientele, just accommodating everybody, just
Yeah.
so I can make my mortgage payment, I can make everything, make all my money on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I'm just grinding at the shop, just building. So I'm
Yeah.
not depending on that money on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. If I had a slow day, I'm not depending on that because I've already made all my money on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at my old shop.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Man,
smart,
that's
June.
So that's a transition. That was a transition for me, right? And that first year, I did that for a whole year. And I didn't eat dinner with my family's big for me. Family is very big for me. And so I didn't eat at home dinner for that whole year, man. I wasn't involved as in with my family, picking up with school, dropping them off, going to meetings. I was just grinding at the shop.
yeah. And
Yeah.
sometimes you have to do that form of an investment,
That's right.
man, because of the future that you're trying to build. And the
Right.
fact that you were able to see that was huge. This is one thing that you tell me if you caught it. So we got a chance to go to the Vegas Expo, Delmar. And I didn't see you, but you was you say you was there, and
Yeah.
you got footage. Like I can't deny that you was
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
But one of the things, man, that Marv, he dropped a really, really big nugget while he was on that panel discussion. And he said, don't sacrifice the things that you're sacrificing for. you know. And so sometimes we put ourselves in situations where we have to do that, though. Like we have to sacrifice the time that we would want to spend with the family so that we can get to being able to spend time with the family, you know.
Right.
But
Absolutely.
you got to make that money. So when you decided to move from here and go to Arizona, one of the things that you told me is that you wanted to build this barbershop called Relentless.
Yeah.
And I want to know a little bit more about the history and the depth of why you named it Relentless.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, man. I just felt like, growing up in the Bay Area, man, you're gonna get a taste of the struggle. You know what I'm saying? Everybody in the Bay Area, you're gonna get a taste of the struggle, unless you come from, a lot of money and stuff. But most people that I knew, we all didn't come from money. We just came from families who just they knew the struggle. They know what it means to hard work, grind, sacrifice, and you can't give up. You cannot give up. In the Bay Area, I feel like that's one of the themes, the mindsets. You just can't give up, man. You just got to keep going and going and going just to keep up. And so that's just also been like there's a lot of things that I faced in my life too. I've also faced it like growing up in education in school. I didn't do really good in school. Your boy was in the special ed class, right?
Yeah.
And people would think like, like, man, your boy was a special ed. He struggled with reading and writing, right? And so financially struggled, education struggled, right? And also mentally, not so much with depression or anything, but just trying to figure out like, man, like just trying to figure out who you are and what you are and just it could get a hold of you, right? And so I just couldn't give up. So moving on along in life, I just refused to give up. In education, I actually started going back to college when I was about like 23 years old, 22 years old.
Nice.
I started at the lowest English. So when I went and take my assessment test for the college, they said, you're so low. The only thing lower than English is ESL, English as a second language.
Yeah.
That's where they only spoke other languages and they just trying to learn how to speak English.
Yeah.
I was just one step above that. I think they said it was like a fifth grade English level. But I worked my way all the way up for like 3 years. I worked my way up to transferable critical thinking English, where it wasn't no longer, we weren't even writing papers no more. We were just having discussions and supporting your opinion with a thesis, right? So I worked my way up to critical thinking English.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so I just couldn't give up. That's when I wanted to become a probation counselor. I wanted to, go into the education. Financially, me starting off, making a little bit of money and then just growing my business, growing and barbering financially. After I first made the 30,000 and the 50,000, 60,000, as you start climbing that, you just can't give up, right? So that theme, you know what I'm saying? A young Hispanic male coming from the Bay Area, you know what I'm saying? I graduated high school, first, bought a home, had a marriage. It's just a lot of these things that I've accomplished in life. It just, I wouldn't have got there if I would have gave it up, up. So I just felt like that's just been a theme of my life, is just being relentless. It's just, I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up. And then also the two part of that answer is also, man, God's love is relentless, man. I wouldn't be able to be where I'm at in life. It wasn't for God's love and his mercy, man, because his love, his mercy, and his grace is relentless, So that's where we came up with that name, Relentless.
Man, I love
the story. Love the story.
Yeah,
every time you think of that name of the barbershop now, man, you think of that story that goes with it.
It's monumental. It's monumental.
It's inspirational as well, because you inspire people to not give up on their dreams. Whether you're a barber or you inspiring to be something else, just don't give up. We all have to. Everybody's road is different.
Right.
I've been through some things in my life. Brad has been through some things in his life. We all have, but you don't give up. You don't let anything deter you from, what you truly seeking to become.
That's right. That's right. You just gotta be relentless. You just don't give up, man. Don't give up. Sink or swim.
Sink or swim.
Sink or swim. You be all in, man. Be all in on your life. Be all in on your dream. Be all in on what you see for yourself. Because at the end of the day, you give up on you. Can't nobody else live through you.
Yeah.
Especially if you're the just being a husband, we're typically going to be the main provider for the household.
That's right.
So And not that you have to be, your wife or your significant other can always, bring in some money,
Sure. That
just
would be
be.
nice. That would be nice. Brother,
Yeah, but we just want to be a contributing factor,
right, right,
at the end of the day. And so your growth and your ability to be relentless is key. So Delmar brought this up, just about how you inspire other people now. So through your life and through your journey, you've gone through the struggle, you've gone through the ups, the downs, you've kind of felt the pains of different things, right? Whether it's opening up a barbershop, that's one version of a pain, or it's getting married and having responsibilities, right? Or it's having children and having to make sure that you care about their mind and care about their future and making sure that they have a loving home, right?
right,
Or
right,
it's
absolutely.
moving from shop to a shop to establish new clientele, build new relationships, sacrificing time with those that you love so that you can really afford the ability to spend time with them
Quality
and
time,
do,
right?
yeah,
And
quality
enjoy.
time. So my question to you, June, is how are you using that now to inspire others? Like how are you using your story to inspire others? What's your goal?
Yeah, so right now, actually, it's crazy that you asked it because right now, that's not my purpose is to inspire other people.
Mm,
Right now, I'm not. That's not wasn't my purpose to inspire. It's just what happened. It's just was something that just happened out of me trying to. I was trying to help, so I jumped online and social media is because I wanted to help somebody in the barbering community. I wanted somebody to help. I wanted to help somebody, a barber, help build clientele. I wanted them to know that what you're going through in the barbering and your experience is normal.
yeah.
And there's some things that we can laugh at. There's some things that we can enjoy and laugh at. And also, I wanted to educate, elevate, and help somebody grow in clientele because, again, I've done it. I've left a shop, I left a community, I left a county, and I rebuilt. Then I just left the state and I moved to a different state and I rebuilt. And so I know what I'm doing. I've done it, I've tested it, and it works. So obviously, I'm confident in that area now. And
Yeah.
so now, I'm opening a barber shop. And so now I'm able to, I wanted to build a platform where I can help because I've already built that. I've already gone through that. And it's just happened to be that I've just been so organic and authentic where it's inspiring people. So that wasn't my motive. That wasn't the reason why I was doing it. I just wanted to elevate and help. And I just started inspiring people, man. And I'm just privileged and honored. And man, yeah.
Man, that's crazy. Do you got any follow-up questions on that? I know I do, but I don't want to talk too much, so I'm trying to be conscious.
No, it's I sensed that from you when I started following you because I found out about you through Brad and like just through your content that you can tell that you're a genuine guy, you're a nice guy, you care about your clients, you're a family man, and like you said, that might not have been your intentions to inspire people, but when you're just a genuine person like that, it
Right.
just organically comes out.
Right.
So I don't have any follow-up question. That just I appreciate what you just said, man.
Yeah, man. Like the whole thing. I've always wanted to help. That's always been a part of me. I've
Mhm.
always been that I've always wanted to help. I just think growing up in the Bay Area, you've been burnt. You've been, people take advantage or, so I've
Mhm.
always had my guard up, always had my guard up growing up. Even now, I still struggle with that, having my guard up and always trying to figure out what's your motive, right?
Mhm.
And then not only that, my wife even say, "Oh, you're trying to be petty." You know what I'm saying? Like, no, it's not that I'm being petty. It's just my guard's up, my defense. I have a huge defense mechanism,
Yeah.
right? And so, and there's, I feel like I don't want to get too deep into that because I feel like a lot of upbringing and culture and environmental has a role in the reason
Of
why
course.
that people are programmed the way they're programmed.
Yeah.
Um, and so there's a lot of things that I've seen growing up, man. I'm always guarded, right? And so now I've reached a level where I don't need to be so guarded. I don't know. I can recognize it. So I don't need to be on the edge. I can recognize it when I need to recognize it. But
Mhm.
other than that, I can lead a hand. And even if somebody does take my advice and I help them and they end up turning around and whatever may be happen, like I'm not going to be all bent out of shape about it. It's because I do it now from the willing of my heart, not to receive anything. I want to give, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not.
And I think that's one of the things, but people with social media, it's something that I've been wanting to talk about. I was going to go on a rant. on make some content. But I think a lot of barbers, we want people. People are always tagging people like, hey, follow me, follow my page. Hey, shout me out. Can you share my video? They tagging people like, hey, show some love, show some love. But it's like, you're not willing to go on people's pages. You're not willing to tag, go over there, show love. You're not willing to share other people's videos, right? Because us as barbers, we just want.
Yeah.
We don't want to give. And I think if you could change this mindset of always taking, and start giving value, your content's gonna blow. Right?
Yeah.
So
No,
that's just
I got a question for that, because that is such a deep concept, what you just said, what you just spoke about, and it's a challenge for a lot of up and coming barbers in the space that we're in, because the narrative goes against what you just said.
right.
So it goes against, it's like, get yours. That's
Right.
what the
It's
concept.
self-made.
Yeah.
Love. Yeah, I know my value.
I know my value, I know my worth, right?
Yeah.
And so, and
I
it's
get
almost
that.
like,
I get that.
yeah, but at the same token though, like, well, I think there's like specific people that are starting to pierce through the noise of society and social media, and it's those people that are truly learning how to be authentically them.
Right.
And on top of being authentically them, trying to help. Like, you're literally trying to help. And I think of people like yourself. I think of people like Marvy Marv. I think of people like Chris Basio. Like, they're really trying to help people
Right.
from their point of view. But this is the question I have from you, is for someone that is like a take type of person right now,
Right.
the reason why someone can feel like they need to take is because they don't have, right? And so that they don't know what they can provide. They don't know what they can give. You know what I'm saying? They don't have the followers to say for me to post your stuff. Like, who's gonna look at it? I only got 300 people. I only got 1,000 people. You know what I mean? So they don't have that perspective. But all of the greats that you may look at online, and I'm speaking to the people that's online right now, like, all of the greats that you have looked at was at some point where you are currently.
Absolutely.
And their mindset was, at that moment, I'm gonna give, because they knew that they had value, and so that they chose to give from the place where they was in the basement. They chose to give from in the garage. They chose to give from just being on the bus or whatever. Like, they chose to give from whatever place they were at, and therefore it grew into what now you look at and think is all great.
Right.
But it started somewhere. So how would you say, June, how would you say that a person should get to that point, that mental shift that you were just speaking about giving? How would you say that they should get there?
I said this many, many times, and this is what I mean by it. Don't chase the lights. Don't chase the views. Don't chase the likes. Don't chase the glamour of being this Instagram sensation or this influencer sensation. If you're always chasing that, you're never going to achieve it, because your motive's wrong, right? And you're not going to really add great value. You're just going to add gimmicks. You're going to add, you're just trying to be trendy, and people are going to recognize that. The followers, the barbering community, anybody, they're going to recognize that, and they don't want that. That's not what they want. The real people, they want somebody who's organic, somebody who's authentic, who's bringing the value. When I say bring value, that means you're giving away information that's going to help them in their life and in their career. That's value. The information that you're giving them is going to elevate them financially, mentally, emotionally. You're going to let them climb and going to rise, and they're going to elevate. That's the information you're giving them. So of course, people are going to gravitate towards that. And so a lot of times people who want to go ahead and be trendy and cool and trying to be this influencer or this limelight, you're going to get some followers, right? But you're going to get the same type of people who want the same thing, who think that's cool. And you're just not going to have no substance. It's not in depth. You're not adding no value. And so when you're authentic, you're real, and you're genuine, people gravitate towards that. And that should be your motive. And so it doesn't matter if you have 9 followers or 20 followers or 1,000. you can still bring value, and that's how you're gonna grow. That's how you grow.
Man, that's beautiful, man. That is beautiful. D, go ahead if you got anything for him.
No, I was just gonna piggyback off of something that he said earlier. Like I think sometimes that's just something that we struggle with as men too. Just being able to respect others and what they're doing in their craft, or giving people props, or just being a taker but not willing to give.
Right.
But like you said, Brad, I think some of us are starting to pierce through that. That was one of the sole purposes of us starting this podcast, the Elevated Barbers Podcast. We wanted to give back to the community, and everybody has something of value that they can add, whether it's their previous experiences, or classes that they might have been investing in, or whatever. But no one should feel like they don't have anything to give, because everybody, their path was different.
Right. It's and also too that you're gonna have to go through the struggle. You're gonna have to go through those, because you're gonna have to go through the process. Let me start preaching now. You're gonna have to start going through the process. It's because it's the process that's gonna get you the education. It's gonna give you the wisdom. It's gonna give you the experience. That's so right. Now you have something to talk about. Now you have substance. So now when you turn around and you try to give this information, you know what you're talking about.
Yep.
It's not regurgitated information. It's not that I just listen to Marv and all of a sudden I sound like Marv. Barbers. I'm not trying to be a gimmick. I'm not trying. It's because I've lived it. I've been doing this for 10 years.
Right.
I've seen all those skits that I've done. I've had those clients in my chair. I've worked alongside of those barbers. I am that barber. So it's like I'm giving you the realness, and that's why it's just going crazy. And I've been doing this for 10 years. I know what I'm talking about. I've gone through it. I've experienced it. I've witnessed it. And that's why I'm able to display it. It's not regurgitated. It's not fake. It's authentic, because I've experienced it. So you got to enjoy the process. Know in your mind that it's a process. And I tell these young guys all the time, document what you're doing now. This is the perfect time. If you're in barber school, you should be documenting it now, making content now, because you want to go back and go back to it. And you're going to realize, dang, I remember going through that. So now 5 years later, you have something to talk about. I remember when I was in barber school, I went this, my teacher, my instructor, they never taught us barbering. It was always about Cosmo, right? That story right there. You know how many other barbers went through that?
Yeah.
That's real. That happened with me. We only talked about Cosmo stuff. We never. Why is it hard to find anyways? But anyways,
say it.
Keep going.
Keep going. Document it now, because it's a process. You got to enjoy the process, embrace the process, because that process is defining you.
Yeah.
It's defining you. It's shaping you, and it's molding you to who you are. Right. And so a couple years later now, boom, you are who you are.
Yeah.
Right.
And you know how you got there. Like, I think I love what you're saying, man, about you being able to document your journey, understanding that it's a process, because so many times a lot of us will get tied to our past, right? We won't realize that we are actually moving forward in life, and things have happened that shaped us or that affected us, but not that that's who we are.
Right.
Like, you have the ability to decide who you want to be. Right. From today, like, you could be listening to this podcast today and you're saying, you know what, I really want to be this person. I really want to not be in this scenario. I really don't want to be known for this, but right now I am, but I want to be something else. Right. So when you have that in your mind of the process, that I'm going through a process, I'm going through something that is going to allow me to become what I see. When you have that, then when you even make mistakes, you can move through your mistakes with understanding, like, man, I should not have did this, but I'm going to keep going forward. You know what I mean? So how big of, and this is like an open discussion for both you and Delmar too. Like, both of you, I want to hear from you if you guys would share. How big is it for people to have I won't say a definitive future, but they do have a goal in mind that they're trying to reach, so that this can actually be a process. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't have a destination, then you're just kind of like wandering through life. You're just kind of wandering through stuff. But how do you guys think about that? Like, having goals so that you can realize that you're going through a process.
Let you go first, June.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. You got the floor.
Destination is very key. It's very important. I think a lot of times people want to rush to get to the destination.
Mm-hmm.
I think direction is more important than speed. Direction is more important than speed. It's not about how fast to get to the destination. It's the direction that you're leading to that destination is key. And also another thing, going back to what you said, I think a lot of people are scared of failure. They're scared of failure and they're scared of change, which those two things are, I embrace those things. I accept those things. I'm not afraid of failure and I'm not afraid of change. I'm not afraid because I've learned going through those processes. Those are like fuel. It's like gas. It's like throwing more gas on the fire. It just blows up. It doesn't feel good. If you ever been burnt, it doesn't feel good. Fire is a strong element. It destroys, it moves everything in its path. But not only that, the wildfires, it creates new growth and new birth, better fertilization. So fire is great.
It purifies.
It's fear of change and also of failure. Is those two are two great components. And that's one thing I teach my kids is don't be afraid of failing and don't be afraid of change because it's going to make you who you are. It's going to make you who you are. Just a quick side story with my daughter. Before she's on this club team, she's on a competitive club team, softball. But before that, she's had four teams. Before that, she was on 3 teams. It was rec teams. And every time we changed, she would cry because I'll put her on a different team. And she was like, I just want to play with my old friends. And I just felt, I said, Marty, listen, I know you want to play with your old friends, but you got to think about it this now. Not only that, you still have those old friends. When you see them, you're still going to be hanging out with them. You still have their number, but now you're going to have more friends and you're going to have new friends. So now you're going to have a lot of friends.
Yeah.
Right. And it's change. I'm trying to introduce her to change. And, but yeah, man, change is good and failure is good. You know, softball is another thing where it's like it's like 90% failure. Everybody who plays is just a high percentage of failure in that sport. And, you know, when you get striked out, you just felt like you let your team out. And it's just one of those things that was just like, you know what, failure is good. So I try to implement those in my life and also with my children, because I know it's a power. Those two are powerful. It's a mind thing. It's a mindset.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. To piggyback off of you, June, that's 2 words I live by, you know, don't fear failing and change, because, you know, we can stay in comfort zones, but comfort zones prevent change. And
that's right.
You know, you can't be comfortable in this industry or just even in life. Like, you got to be willing to change, and change brings about growth. And you can't be afraid of failing. A lot of our successful business people, billionaires, millionaires, they all failed at something before,
right?
You know, but they didn't let that one failure, or, you know, the many times that they failed, stop them from progressing towards their goal. They had a goal in mind. Hey, look, I was doing it this way. I failed. This way didn't work. Let me take a different route.
Right.
You know, but I'm not gonna fail. I posted something last week and it said, progress is always forward or upward. You know, it's never backwards or downwards. So as long as you making that move forward or making that move up, you're going to continue to progress. But don't be afraid of failure or change.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I like what you were saying, both of y'all. One of the words that you used was fire. Like it fuels you, and another way to use that word also is purification, right? Like fire purifies. Fire will bring the best out of something because it destroys what's not necessary.
Right.
So I love that.
Come on.
You said what?
Come on, that's good. It purifies. It takes
dropping gems.
Unnecessary, right? Stuff that's not necessary, it eliminates it.
Yeah. And that's what we have to realize in our life, man, as we continue to grow as individuals, as barber and beauty professionals. You have to realize that some stuff you're going to have to get rid of, you know, some stuff you're going to have to let go. It might even be your old mindset towards specific things. It could be, sometimes it's got to be people too, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to cut some people out your life because they're not adding value. And
Absolutely.
sometimes you have to cut habits out of your life because these habits don't add no value to you, especially if you know where you're trying to go. And I love what you said, June, about how direction is way more important than speed,
Mm-hmm.
because you can be trying to move so fast in life that you can't control it and you run into a wall, right?
You
Or
go
you run
nowhere
into
real fast.
yeah, you going
You're
nowhere
going in
real
the wrong
quick.
direction. You're making progress, but you're going fast, but you're going that's not where you want to go.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and I think that's how come it's so critical that we understand where we're trying to go. Like
Right.
a lot of us don't take the time to truly understand where we want to go,
Right.
whether it's been this business, and sometimes, unfortunately, it's even in life. Like I've
Yeah.
been in that scenario where, you growing up and your whole focus in this industry. I know for me, it was strictly about making money. Like I was just like, man, I'm trying to get in here and make some money.
Yeah.
And like one of the coldest questions that someone asked me when I was young, they was just like, when I was young in this industry, they said, well, how much money do you want to make? I was like I never thought that far. Like,
Yeah.
I just said I wanted to make money.
I just want to make money. I just trying to get a couple bucks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I
well,
put gas in the car. That's it.
and that's what's crazy is that's exactly what I was doing, June. I was making enough to put gas in the car and pay my cell phone bill, and that's about it. You know what I mean? And so I didn't have the vision of learning how to be self-sufficient. Like, okay, do you want to live on your own? How much is rent gonna be? How much is your car note gonna be? Like what, and then work towards that goal. So like goals are going to be the thing that I would think that anybody needs to have in their life so that they can move forward. If you don't move forward in life, then you can't progress, you can't go forward or upward if you don't know where you're trying to go, or you're just going to wander. And wasting time is worse than wasting energy sometimes. It's like, man, like you need to be more effective with your time. So
absolutely.
Now, this is my last question for you, June. Delmar, he might like go on a rant and ask you a whole bunch more questions.
Delmar.
But one thing that I think is key right now is booking. Is booking and getting appointments. And you talked about building your clientele in Vacaville, and you also talked about how you rebuilt and you started new, and you were able to start Relentless, and you have now barbers with you. You are getting people on your books. Now, my question to you has to do with what are your pet peeves about booking softwares, and not that you name them, don't name drop, but just things that you wish booking platforms would do to help the barbers be better. Like, you know what I mean? Like, how could softwares help? And I remember, and the reason why I'm coming up with this question, June, just to give you some backstory, I was ear hustling. And I was ear hustling between you and a popular somebody, and they were trying to ask you about getting on their platform. And you were like, I built my own. Like, I built my own. I'm good. Right. And so you've done something. I don't know what it is that you've done to have everything that you have, but what made you want to do that? But really, like, what are some of the pet peeves that you may have about like booking in that whole process, and how can we make it better?
Well, here I think the booking software that they came out with, I think it's a good software. I'll tell you what I do like about it. I like all the text notifications. I like the reminders. I like the emails. I like how people can go in there and book. There's nothing wrong with the booking. My issue is that when they're trying to sell me and they're trying to get me on board, it's like, look, this is what I can do for you. I can do X, Y, Z. And in my opinion, I already have X, Y, Z. I don't need you to build me a website. I already have a website. I don't need you to, it's just for me, it's just for the amount of money that you want me to pay, I've already got all of those things that you're having to offer me. Mm-hmm. The only thing that you're going to do difference is you're going to take out one link and then you're going to add another link. I just think that's pointless. When I've already done everything. I've already done that. One thing I love about barbering is that it created in me where I had to be this true entrepreneur. I've always had a website before booking. I started booking like in 2015 is when I started doing booking. This is before, I think there was only in 2014, I think it was I think Go Panache, Go
Go
Booksy,
Panache, yeah.
Go Panache. Those were like Go Panache was actually one of the first ones.
Mm-hmm.
Go Panache was like booming, and then Booksy came along. But before that, I was already doing my own booking, man. I was already doing my own booking. I'm at my own website, and it just felt like for the amount of money that you're asking me, like I've already have a website. I already have a brand. I already have Barber June. Barber June has been www.barberjune.com. I've had for many years. I've already had that front door. I've always said, websites are the front door.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's the new front door of a barbershop. It's the new
Mm-hmm.
front door.
Yeah.
And so for me, I just didn't feel like I'm getting my money's worth. If I'm going to spend money, I want my money's worth. That's all I want. I want value.
Now, what do you feel like would provide value from a software? Like, what do you feel like would change the game for you?
Well, I don't know, because it's kind of like I've already done everything that you've already given me.
Yeah.
Like I've already done it.
There's
like
nothing new. Like you're
it's nothing new. I've been doing this. Right. If anything, now I got to change my link to have Squire or I'm sorry.
Oh, that
or Booksy on my link instead of barberjune.com or whatever it is. Whatever.
Yeah.
And I know nothing against Squire, Booksy, the Cut app. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of that stuff that they're doing for barbers could be doing for themselves.
Right.
They can. But I just think you've got to get savvy enough. You've got to want it more, and you've got to be able to actually look for those answers, because the answers are out there. The answers are out there. You can build your own website. It's not going to take a lot of money, and it's not going to be hard. It's just going to be some sacrifices. It's going to be some time. But I just think barbers, they don't want to put in that work.
Yeah.
They don't want to stay up 3 hours, 4 hours a night trying to work on a website.
Yeah, and it can be time consuming.
It is.
I've been having my website since 2014 through GoDaddy, and it draws a lot of traffic. So I want to ask you, can you say to maybe up and coming barbers, like, what are some of the benefits of having your own website, having some internet real estate, if I should say?
Yeah, man. I think the benefits of that, man, when people in your area, so you got to think of it like this now. The website is the new front door. People are not walking into barbershops, not as much as they used to. Like when they would drive around, look for barbershops. Oh, there's a barbershop right there. Let me walk in. Hey, you guys got appointments. They don't do that no more. They go to the web. They go to Google, barbershop near me, and it pulls up all the barbershops. So when a new client is looking to get cut, they're searching barbershop near me. And are you on that list that comes up of the barbershops near them?
Yeah.
Are those booking apps putting you in their face? Because that's really what matters, is all these apps and all these softwares, are they putting you in their face when they search barbershops in my area?
Yeah.
And that's what you've got to do as a business shop owner, as somebody who's want to put your website out there. You have to learn and know how to put yourself in front of them, put your door in front of them so that new client can pick your door.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think when people get on these booking platforms, they give the booking platform too much control. Like, okay, they're going to put me on Front Street, and they may not. It's all according to rankings, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And money. But if you have your own real estate on the web and you have your own website, then you can promote yourself. Like my website pops up on Google in my area before my booking platform. I ain't gonna name drop before my booking platform does.
Right.
So if it wasn't for me having that booking platform, my website, then I don't know if I would get as much traffic from the booking platform because of just how things are.
So I don't know a lot about these booking efforts because I've never really been interested in them. I've always been like, this has been working. It's a gold mine. A lot of people are not doing it. A lot of barbershops don't have websites. This is a gold mine. And so for me with the booking platforms, I always feel like, I know for one of them that it brings everybody who's looking for a haircut, and they can pick and choose. They can say, oh, okay, let me look up for a barbershop, and then you'll pop up, right? But then also it'll pop up for other barbershops in your area. So like, why am I as a barber going to promote this booking app, say, hey, come book me on this booking app, and now because I'm not available, it's going to put you in front of 24 other barbers in my area that's on this booking app. Why would
Talk to him.
Why would I do that? And I don't know which app does that, right? Because I know it
all
does.
of them do that.
All of them do it.
See, I don't get that.
Yeah,
that drives me crazy.
Yeah, I'm with you, bro. I'm with you, man.
And I also feel like the type of clientele that follows those apps are kind of a certain type of clientele.
He's talking, y'all. I hope y'all listen to this man. This man is dropping gems.
Talk to him. I got to speak to the phone.
Yeah, I feel like there's only a certain type of clientele that's on those apps, because there's a lot of clientele that I have, and I ask them, hey, how did you hear about us? Google. And it's a variety of people. There's so many people that are not even hip to these apps, but they know Google, right? And it's great clientele. There's so much clientele. There's so much clientele we shouldn't even be arguing about who's busy or not. Everybody should be busy. Everybody should be busy. But yeah, I don't think that's smart. Why would you do that?
Why would you do that? And
why would you do that?
Crazy, because you don't realize that a booking platform has created a dual marketplace.
Yeah.
So the platform allows barbers to come, or beauty professionals to come on their platform, and the way that they sell you is that we'll put you in front of more people, right? Then they go to the customer, and they say, we'll put you in front of more barbers or beauty professionals, whatever you're looking for. We'll give you a whole bunch to choose from. So what you are actually doing is putting yourself on a shelf and allowing people to walk by and choose from the best packages. And somebody's going to overlook your quality because they're looking at the price point. You know what I'm saying? They're looking at the price point or the color of your logo, so to speak. And so in my head, I always look at it and I'll be like, man, like you put me on here like I'm like a shampoo on a shelf. I don't like feeling like that. You know what I mean?
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
And like you said about the clientele that draws, like you're going to get a specific type of minded person that is looking for bargains. They're looking for
the best deals,
like the best deal, and how to get over, because that's what you put them in front of, right? Like that's what you're inviting them to.
That's how you're marketing towards them.
Exactly.
That's the sales pitch.
Versus you having your own established situation where they can come and understand who you are, understand what you do, and then from there they can choose to open that door and book an appointment or not. So I think what you were saying is so critical, and that's one of the biggest things that I'm on a tangent to try and, not a tangent, but I'm on a mission to understand why this is like this. You know what I mean? Like, since when did we become products that people choose off of a shelf versus being an asset for an individual and their desires? Like, we're supposed to be something that people want, but not shopped like that. Like, people used to come to us because of what they had heard, because of what they had seen. You know what I mean? And now it's different.
So I'm not on these platforms, these booking platforms, just because it's kind of like, you're not going to tell me the amount of platform you have is bigger than Google. So if I try to go and try to sell something, right, and I go into a room and there's only 3 people in there, I only have a small percentage. Versus if I go into a room where there's 10 people and I'm trying to sell something to people, right, I have a bigger percentage, and I also have a bigger, I have more opportunities to sell to more people, right? You cannot tell me that these booking apps have bigger platform than Google.
Yeah.
You cannot tell me that. They're not.
It's impossible.
So why would I?
And on top of that, you're subject to the type of phone.
Right.
On top of that, like
the
Apple versus the Samsung people that downloaded that specific app. So yeah.
So why would I put my business, my entrepreneur, something that gives me the potential to make a lot of money? Why would I put it on a smaller platform or in front of a smaller audience?
Yeah.
Versus going to a bigger audience. So whoever's on the live right now, man, we dropping some gems right now, man.
Like
this game.
Come get this game. Did you have any final questions? Because we coming up on an hour, and we respect your time, June. So we're not gonna keep you no longer than necessary. But D, did you have any follow-up questions?
No, man. I really appreciate this. I don't even want to call it an interview. This conversation that we had with Barber June. I learned some stuff about you. Um, there's some things that I want to take from this conversation and apply it to what I'm trying to do as well. And once again, I appreciate you coming on our platform and being a part of the Elevated Barbers Podcast.
Well, thank you, man. Thank you guys. Seriously, thank you, man. I've enjoyed this conversation. It's been a good conversation. We need a round two. We need a round two.
Hey, I'm down, man. If you down, bro, I'm down. We definitely want to keep this relationship, and that's what we're trying to do here at Elevated Barbers. Is really like build relationships, right? And it's not just with individuals, but with those that are viewing, right? If you are appreciating the content that you're getting, if you appreciate the value that we're trying to deliver, please subscribe, please get your notifications on. Turn this stuff on so that when we drop new episodes, you guys can be aware, you guys can be a part, and we all can kind of grow together, because the goal is to help barbers and beauty professionals elevate. And so our goal is to put ourselves in a position to help you. And like you said, June, we're trying to do that from the most authentic place, because at the end of the day, if we aren't helping people, then what are you doing? What's the point? What's your payback? And our payback is the fact that barbers can go away a more elevated emotionally, elevated educationally, elevated from even an inspiration standpoint. Like, man, I'm about to go do this. I'm about to go do something. So I think, June, you've added so much value to the podcast today.
And you are our very first guest.
Yeah.
Very first guest.
Season two. We out here, man.
Wait, you guys had a guest before season one? Did you guys have guests on season one?
No, it was just us.
Oh, so I'm the first guest.
You're the very first guest.
Oh, wow. Hey, let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope. Yeah.
Yeah. So to everybody out there, again, my name is Brad, the Business Minded Barber. If you don't follow me on IG, please do. Delmar, go ahead and let them know who you are, and then June, give your information again and let them know to follow you as well.
Is there any questions that they had? Anybody from the
IG?
Yeah,
I didn't see any questions, but Cut Flow Dre, he said, "Did you cover your client's toe for them?"
It's so I didn't, man. I did. Hey, but I did hook them up. I didn't charge them full price. But yeah, man, I was appreciated. Yeah. I didn't charge them full price. I just hooked them up just because I did appreciate them.
Yeah.
So I guess I did.
I did that too, man. Because when I first started, I was in Richmond, and then I crossed the bridge to Vallejo, and so I knocked the toll off of the cut.
Cool.
So I was feeling that.
Yeah. Any more questions? I just like the question segments. I like them.
Yeah. I'm trying to look. I don't see any.
I don't see any questions.
Any questions? A lot of comments though. But I don't know exactly at what point the people.
It's all good. It's all good.
Stuff. But next time, though, that's a good key for us, Delmar, is that when we go live with the people that we're doing the podcast with, is to pay attention to the questions. That way we can incorporate the questions into the live, because they won't have the ability to do that when they watch the episode.
Right.
So, good. See, June, looking at adding value to the podcast, man.
Yeah, man, let's go. That's what we do, right? Hey.
That's what we do. So again, like I said, so Delmar, introduce or give your information, and June, you give your information.
Okay, this is Delmar, aka the Prince, owner of Royal Luxe Grooming, and also co-host of the one and only Elevated Barbers Podcast. I'm gonna pass the mic off to my man, June. Take us out of here.
Hey, man, what's up? It's your boy, Barber June. You know what it is. It's Elevated Barber Podcast. Hey, man, we're super excited. Man, thank you guys. Make sure you guys, your boy just started a YouTube channel. So if you're looking for more reviews, if you're looking for more clipper reviews, expos, just the barber culture in general, man, tap into Barber June at YouTube. Barber June on Instagram. Man, that's what it is, man. Thank you guys. So you know what time it is.
And we'll plug that in on our YouTube too when we drop the episode.
Okay, for sure. Yeah.
Yes,
sir.
And so for everybody that is here and everybody that is there, thank you so much for tuning in to the first episode of season 2, Elevated Barbers Podcast. Again, my name is Bradford Kelly, owner of Another Level of Barbering. And you all know that I'm trying to come out with this education, and it's the Level Up programs for barber and beauty professionals. So just tap in when you can. But for this episode, we are out.
Peace.